right, here's our second challenge in the if statement section. So what I would like you to do, similar to what we did in the variables section where we calculated random boba prices, what I would like you to do is do the same thing, but maybe with the ratings of the boba. So I want you to create 5 boba ratings, and it should assign it a random integer variable number from 1 to 10, and calculate the average of all of them, and then print that out. At the same time, what I want you to do, and here, I will show you, within your, here, let's do it in our main script again. I'm gonna empty this out real quick. Okay, so I want you to create 5 boba ratings, right? And then in start, you're gonna do the same thing, assign a random value to each boba rating from 0 to 10, and then calculate the average and print it out. And then what I'd like you to do is maybe say, like, if the average is greater than 8, I'd like you to print out some kind of message that's like, amazing. And then let's say if the average is greater than or equal to 7, but less than 8, we should print out something that's like, great. Let's do another one. If the average is greater than or equal to 5, but less than 7, we should print out good. And then else, meaning that the average is less than 5, print out a different message. So print out something like only okay. So you should be using if and else if logic to do this. Do your best, and if you get stuck, I'm going to show you a solution in just a second, but go ahead and pause the video here and do your best to create this program. All right, see you in just a sec. Okay, hopefully you paused the video and hopefully you figured out a solution to this. If not, I'm going to show you a solution right now. So we need to create 5 boba ratings once again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make those private integers, and I'm going to call that boba rating 1, boba rating 2, boba rating 3, boba rating 4, and lastly, boba rating 5. End it with a semicolon. And then I'll go ahead and serialize the field so we can see all these in the inspector. Okay, now that we have these, we need to assign random values to it in start. So let's do boba rating 1, and that's going to equal random.range between 0 and 10. And if you look at your tooltip, the minimum is inclusive, so it would include 0, but the maximum is exclusive, so it won't include 10. So if we want 10 to be an option, we actually have to go up to 11. Let's do the same with the others. Boba rating 2 equals random.range between 0 and 11. Boba rating 3 equals random.range between 0 and 11. Boba rating 4 equals random.range between 0 and 11. And lastly, boba rating 5 equals random.range between 0 and 11. So we've done this part. We've assigned a random value. Now we need to calculate the average. So let's do the same thing. I'm going to say int average, and that's going to equal all of those boba prices added together first, and then divide that by 5. So boba rating 1 plus boba rating 2 plus boba rating 3 plus boba rating 4 plus boba rating 5. And remember to put all that in parentheses first, and then we can divide that by 5. There we go. So we've calculated the average. This part is done. And then print it out. Let's say debug.log average rating is, and then we'll append that to our average that we just calculated. Okay, so that part is done. Now it's time for our if, else logic. So we need to start with the greater than 8. So we will say if average is greater than 8, debug.log, amazing. And now we want to check if it's not this, so we can open up an else if average is greater than or equal to 7 and it's less than 8. Oh, and it doesn't like this because it doesn't know what we mean by 8. We need to be a little bit redundant and say, and average is less than 8. And then we'll debug.log. Great, let's do the next one. Else if average is greater than or equal to 5 and the average is less than 7. Then we can open up our curly brackets and debug.log. Good. And finally, the default is else. We're going to open up curly brackets and do one other debug.log only. Okay. there we go. Let's save our script, hop into Unity and test it out. So currently our Boba ratings are 0. Okay, our ratings have been randomly calculated, 24864. And in our console, the average is 4, so we've printed out only okay. Let's see if we can get a better average and test out the other parts of our logic. Okay, we have 106,004. I think once again it's only okay. Okay, our average is 4 again. Third time's the charm, 87048. Okay, our average was 5. We got good. All right, so that our program is working. Okay, so that was the challenge on how to use some if, else logic to print out different information based on some randomly assigned variable. In the next one, we're gonna do another slightly different challenge, and it'll be using this logic as well. Okay, see you in the next one.